Hello and welcome to another episode of Insider Focus. Rangers fans, you must be getting excited because all things considered so far, the window has been very strong for Michael Beale and his recruitment team. Rangers closing in on potentially 4 more signings. We're going to talk about them in this upcoming video. We'll talk about deals done and a contract extension perhaps as well. But before we do that, please make sure you like and subscribe. It's really, really helpful. Just hit that subscribe button in the bottom corner or go to the channel to do so. Right, onwards with the video. You've seen Rangers lost a couple of key men, long-term figures at the football club this summer. Alfredo Morelos has gone, Ryan Kent has joined, Fenerbahce, and even Alan McGregor, the legendary goalkeeper, has seen his time come to an end at Ibrox, which means that Michael Beale needed to rebuild that squad for a challenge next season. Of course, Celtic won the treble, won the domestic treble, and Rangers are looking to chase them and pull them back and get back to top spot in Europe. They have replaced Alan McGregor. They have signed Jack Butland on a pre-contract deal. As you know, that is a done deal. Signed, sealed, delivered. You can see him now with the pictures with the Rangers shirt, and he will be Rangers' new number 1. They hope that his impact will be good and he can cement that place for himself, and they've brought in a real gem there. Of course, Butland was a former England international who had an incredible career ahead of him, perhaps dipped a little in recent years, but Rangers have managed to snap him up and bring him to Glasgow. They've also brought in Dujon Sterling, the right wing back, who can also play right centre back if a 3 has done previously. And he's come in as well from Chelsea, another signing in the door, signed and sealed for Michael Beale, a player that he worked with at Chelsea Youth and knows well. Of course, Tavernier, the captain, sits at right back, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. And speaking of fullbacks, well, Borna Barisic is in talks currently for a contract extension. He's currently away with Croatia, obviously, but his representatives have been in discussions. We understand that the negotiations are ongoing for the length of that deal, what the extension will be. His contract ends in 2024, and Rangers are looking to tie him down. There's been high interest in Borna Barisic, and he was a figure that could have left this summer, but Rangers looking to keep him at Ibrox along with Ridvan Yilmaz at left back so that they don't need to bring in anyone else. Michael Beale is a fan of Barisic. We do understand that, also a fan of Yilmaz too. So Rangers hoping to keep strong in that position. But it's centre back where they were wanting to strengthen, and they are in talks over a new centre back. That, of course, is Jonathan Panzo of Nottingham Forest. The centre back has been wanted by Rangers for a long time. They did a couple of months ago, we understand, have a talk to see if their deal could be done, although nothing really moved from there, though in recent weeks it's certainly picked up. Not as advanced as some are suggesting, is our understanding. Talks still ongoing over a deal of around £2.5 million, because he's contracted till 2025 at Nottingham Forest, so they will have to pay up for him if they do want him. Only 22 years old, and another Chelsea youth product as well. So Michael Beale did say players he knew. You'll see a theme, and that theme is players he's worked with before. Michael Beale would have known of him, and of course now looking to bring him in. Those talks are still ongoing at this stage, but Rangers also do want to bring in another centre-back. There is some uncertainty over the future of Ben Davies and a possibility that he could be sold this summer, but I think it would have to be the right offer, a high earner at Ibrox, and we'll wait and see what happens with him in the coming weeks. But Rangers will want to make sure that someone is in to consolidate that position and bring more strength to the centre-back position. Rangers also seen a lot of midfielders leave the club as well. You've also had Scott Arfield, who's been a long-term servant for Rangers, leave after a good few years. Stephen Davis coming to the end of his time. Whether he'll go into a coaching role, we'll wait and see in the coming months as well. Glenn Kamara is available for around £5 million. Heavy interest in him around Europe. We expect some bids now in the next kind of week, coming days for him, and some talks to resume over his departure from Ibrox. Remember, he'd already left pretty much last summer to Nice, but that deal fell through in the final moments, and it looks like Rangers have now cleared the way to allow him to go this summer. But they are close to bringing in Jose Cifuentes from LAFC. A very, very, very good signing for Rangers. He, of course, is out of contract in December this year. Rangers looking to beat many clubs to his signature. Now, the Ecuadorian international was wanted by Leeds and Brighton, and that should give Rangers fans confidence, right? Because when Brighton want a player, that usually means there's something about them. Only 24 years old. He's Ecuadorian international. He's been capped by his national side as well, and has been a stalwart for LAFC. So one that Rangers have been looking to get, one that Fabrizio Romano talked about out, obviously. The great Fabrizio Romano is a fantastic buy for Rangers, and that is getting closer too. We're expecting that to be announced soon, waiting for that to go over the line as well. So a lot of activity. Rangers have also strengthened with people already there. Ryan Jack obviously signing a one-year contract extension at the club to stay. A player Michael Beale really likes and admires too. So Ryan Jack will be there for another year. Kieran Dowell has also come in from Norwich City. He has signed as well. The first signing under Michael Beale's era as manager. He's in too to strengthen in numbers there. And they also had Raskin come in and Todd Cantwell in January, who have both been fantastic since they arrived. So a lot of work gone in to that area of the park. But let's talk a bit further forward, because Rangers obviously let Alfredo Morelos leave the club after many years. You'll hear about his new club soon. We're looking for that in the next couple of weeks. Our understanding is there's no rush from Alfredo Morelos to make a decision. He's currently in Colombia at the moment, in his home country, and enjoying a break. So we'll hear about that in the next couple of weeks. But let's talk about one that we know is moving, and that is Sam Lammers. There's been some talks with Lammers. We knew Rangers would strengthen with a couple in this position, and that does say to us that Antonio Kolak is likely to go if the right offer arrives. Now we've got to remember, Kolak's Rangers' joint top scorer last season, so there might be some who think it's quite unfortunate that he will be leaving the club. But Lammers is a player who Rangers would be keen to get out of contract in 2023. We know there have been discussions. An exciting player, 26 years old, Holland international, at under 21 level with 11 caps for them too, and talks have been ongoing there. A number of clubs in this race, but Rangers are, from what we understand, in a good position. We shall wait and see. Not a done deal yet. Not a done deal till they're holding that shirt, right? Of course it's not. So Rangers are trying to bring in Lammers as well. And then of course there is the other striker position, and this is where it gets interesting. Rangers have had a look at a number of players here. Matisha Friggin, they've looked at Duvakis as well, they've looked at Hadji Wright too, but I understand as they've been priced out really from those clubs of those. But Cyril Dressers is one that is gaining momentum. A deal for around £5 million could be struck. We understand there's been one maybe soft offer, I think you would call it, in at this point, with negotiations still ongoing, because he is contracted until 2027. He only signed a new deal on the 10th of August with them last summer. So a new player, they've got a strong position, Cremonese here. They don't have to sell for less than they want to, and Rangers are looking to bring him in. He scored 6 goals in Serie A for them this season, and of course he plays that centre forward role, but it's also played on the flanks too. Same as Lammers, he's played on the flanks as well. So Michael Beale clearly looking for players who are malleable in their position. Dressers is a Nigerian international with 4 caps and a goal for the country. Rangers has obviously had a couple of them in recent years, the likes of Bassey and Joe Aribo, and Balogun as well was a Nigerian international, wasn't he, playing for the club? So previous history there. Very busy at Ibrox. Let's talk about the winger position. Morgan Whittaker, we understand, is still liked, but there's a lot of interest in him from English clubs as well. We know Rangers were in talks for him in January and wanted to bring him in, but talks broke down with Swansea and it never quite materialised into a done deal. However, we wouldn't be surprised if Rangers went back in there to try and get something over the line. Swansea didn't bring him back on loan from Port Vale to sell him in January, and we don't know how much the valuation has risen in summer because they don't want to sell him for cheap, as Rangers found out in January when they had some bids rejected. So there could be movement on that in the coming weeks. Keep an eye on that. And let's talk about Luis Palma, who has been heavily linked with Rangers in the past few weeks. We do understand there were some initial talks, but our understanding is Rangers are not in that race currently. They are being beaten to Palma's signature, if you like, by other clubs around Europe, South America. A lot of interest in Luis Palma, and it looks like he won't be moving to Ibrox this summer unless Rangers decide to make a late play for him in the window. We do think that they'll sell a few more on and then bring in some more in the window, thereby not done at all. We're expecting up to 10 players to come in at Ibrox, which makes it for a very exciting summer for Rangers fans across the city. Celtic have obviously lost their manager in Ange Postecoglou and are looking to bring in a new man in his position. Brendan Rodgers currently the favourite to come back for Celtic, but they could also lose some key players in that, and you sense that Rangers want to try and take advantage of that position to get back into a strong position for challenging for next season's title. with Lammers, with Dressers, with Cifuentes, with Panzo, and then they've obviously already got Butland, they've got Kieran Dowell, they've got Dujon Sterling in there as well. It's a strong start from Rangers, an aggressive start to the window, and we've not even opened yet. The window does not open for another 2 days. It's exciting times at Ibrox for Rangers fans. A lot of change, a new era absolutely beginning, but it's certainly one that should give Rangers fans some hope and expectation going into next season. But Celtic will strengthen as well, which is good for Scottish football to have 2 strong teams fighting at the top of the table. Got a strong Rangers and a strong Celtic fighting at the top of the table, and potentially both in the Champions League as well. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure you like and subscribe so you're with us for the window, because we're going to be here every day, Monday to Friday, with the new morning programme where we'll give you updates of what to look out for that day. And then Monday, Wednesday and Friday you can join me for Insider Focus or Insider Track with one of my colleagues. And we've got some pundits on here as well, doing a bit of talking as well, as you would have seen in the previous video. So please make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. You can follow me, all the stuff in the description below, and we'll see you in the next video. Cheerio.